Hi everyone, it's Chris. Welcome back to another video. Thank you for joining me today. I'm going to continue with my series of favourite five, where I share five my favourite records in particular categories. It may be album tracks, singles, albums of particular bands or artists. And today's choice are American punk legends, the Ramones. So I've got for you today my favourite five albums, my favourite five singles, and my favourite five album tracks from that particular band. So tell me what you think in the comments below. Let's start with the 45s. So the first thing I ever bought by the Ramones was back in the summer of 1977, and it's my fifth favourite single by them, and it's Swallow My Pride. I absolutely adore that single. I still play it today, and it's a brilliant song, and that's my fifth favourite. At number 4, and I've looked everywhere for this single, it's in this house somewhere. It's not a double A, but it's got two songs on it, both of which are reasonably well known, and the B-side is probably more well known. So it's She's the One is the A side, and the B side is I Want to Be Sedated. Now it's in here somewhere, I just can't find it. It's not where it should be. And I can picture it because it's a black cover, yellow writing with She's the One backed with I Want to Be Sedated. It's a fairly nondescript cover, but I haven't got it to show you. But that's my number 4. At number 3, their classic Blitzkrieg Bop, their debut single, brilliant song, just groundbreaking kind of stuff, love it, and that's at number 3. At number 2, a kind of surf punk classic, Sheena Is a Punk Rocker. Again, I bought that in the summer of 1977 and still play it, adore it. And at number 1 is a song probably that would rank in my top songs of all time, let alone from the Ramones and let alone from 1977, and that's Rockaway Beach. I think that's just an absolutely classic song. Chewing out a rhythm on my bubble gum, the sun is out and I want some. Fantastic. There's my favourite 5 singles from the Ramones. Let's think about albums now. So they produced, I think, something about 13 or 14 albums, and these are my favourite. Now, the 5th favourite one I don't possess on vinyl. I never bought it, and the reason for that is because I probably was going off the band at that particular time. But my 5th favourite is this one, End of the Century, Phil Spector produced album from 1980. There are some good things on here, but this was a band, I think, that were changing their sound, and at this point I kind of got off the bus, if you like. I didn't like it as much. So, Do You Remember Rock and Roll Radio is nearly 4 minutes long. This is the Ramones, for heaven's sake. But it's a half decent song. Chinese Rocks is good, and that's got a guitar solo in it. Can you believe it? Return of Jackie and Judy is kind of like harping back to the song Judy is a Punk and reproducing those kind of people. Let's Go is a good song. Baby I Love You, which is the Ronettes song. I mean, it's very Phil Spector produced. It just doesn't sound right. Let's Go is a good song. Baby I Love You is decent. This Ain't Havana is a good song. Rock and Roll High School, that's like it's a bit of like a Frankenstein of lots of different Ramone songs all put into one. It sounds a bit like Sheena Is a Punk Rocker, but it's got moments of it that sound like the chorus of Rockaway Beach. It's a strange song. And High Risk Insurance to close the album is a decent song. So there are some decent songs on this album. It's probably at the moment that I thought, the Ramones aren't for me anymore. At number 4, gone with Road to Ruin. This is on yellow vinyl. This is their 4th album, and again, this is a band just starting to change their sound, and it was probably this album that made me think about whether or not I want to continue with this band, and I ended up not getting End of the Century, but it does have some good moments. It's got Don't Come Close, which I don't like. It's got Needles and Pins, which I don't like on it, but I Don't Want You, I Wanted Everything, Go Mental, I Want to Be Sedated. There's some really good songs. She's the One, the 45 from here, was tremendous. Bad Brain, it's classic. So, there are some good moments on it. It's just a band that's slightly changing their sound. There are the kind of remastered, which have a lot of kind of demos and stuff on them, which are pretty good as well. But that's my 4th favourite Ramones album. At number 3 is their debut. I love it. it's just not as good as the next two. So at number 3 is their debut. This has got some classics. Starts off with Blitzkrieg Bop. It's got Beat on the Brat. It's got Judy Is a Punk. I Want to Be Your Boyfriend. Now I Want to Sniff Some Glue. You know, it's just a brilliant album, iconic cover, and a groundbreaking album, I would have said. At number 2, and my 1 and 2 flip-flop all the time, and I know I've done videos where I've said this is my number 1 album by the Ramones. At the moment, this is my number 2, and this is the second album I ever bought by them, and it's Rocket to Russia. Now, this has got some absolutely classic material on it. Cretin Hop, Rockaway Beach is on here, Lock It Love, Sheena Is a Punk Rocker, We're a Happy Family, Do You Wanna Dance, you know, their version of Surfing Bird. It's just a brilliant album, full of hooks, full of kind of great songwriting, just good fun. Just brilliant album. But my favourite is the first album I ever got by them, and I'm pretty sure I got this at Christmas in 1977, and this is actually the copy of it. Even by then, it had been reissued slightly, because on the original album there was a song called Carbona Not Glue, and I think they got into trouble using that because it's a trade name, so they had to remove that song, and so that's not on here. But this has got, you know, Glad to See You Go, Give Me Shock Treatment, I Remember You, which is just like a surf punk, which is brilliant. Oh Oh, I Love Her So, brilliant. Susie Is a Headbanger, Pinhead, their classic Gabba Gabba Hey refrain on that. Swallow My Pride, their version of California Sun. It's just a fantastic album. And there's the American version of it, which has got Carbona Not Glue. That was removed from the UK version eventually, not originally but eventually. And that's my favourite album by the Ramones. So let's look at album tracks. So my favourite album tracks at number 5, let's get these out of the way. At number 5, I'm going to their debut album, and my 5th favourite album track by them is Now I Want to Sniff Some Glue. It's just a brilliant song. You know, lyrically they aren't the most inventive or the most creative, but it's just a wonderful song, and that's my number 5. At number 4, I'm going to their 4th album, Road to Ruin, the album that started to question whether or not I wanted to stay with this band. But there's a classic song on here. It's my 4th favourite album track, and it's Bad Brain. It's absolutely quintessential Ramones. I absolutely adore that song. It's fantastic. At number 3, going from a song from this album, from Leave Home, and it's Susie Is a Headbanger. Melodic, great up-tempo pace, brilliant song, absolute classic Ramones. Love that song. At number 2, I'm going back to this album again, Leave Home, and Oh Oh, I Love Her So. Again, the melodies that the Ramones were able to put into their music was just stunning. Again, it's got that kind of Beach Boy kind of surfing kind of sound in a punk kind of mentality. It's absolutely brilliant. Oh Oh, I Love Her So is my 2nd favourite album track by the band, and my favourite album track by this band comes from their debut, and it's Judy Is a Punk, which is just brilliant. And it's got that fantastic line, 2nd verse same as the 1st, and then it has 3rd verse different from the 1st. It's just lyrically banal but absolutely classic song. I love it, and that's my favourite album track from the Ramones. What a band. You know, I think I jumped shipped after Road to Ruin, and I didn't bother with End of the Century, but you know, just in those first 4 albums, the influence that they had, amazing. Great band. Tell me what your favourite 5 are, and I'm sure I'll be back sometime with another video. Cheers.